Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Fluctus Channel. Today, we step inside one of the most secretive and closely protected aircraft ever built by the United States. The B-2 Spirit is not just a bomber. It is a flying expression of stealth, nuclear strength, strategic reach, and a nation's determination to stay ahead. The story of why America refused to sell the B-2 begins long before the aircraft first appeared in public. During the Cold War, Soviet air defenses were becoming denser, smarter, and deadlier. Flying higher was no longer enough. Flying faster was no longer enough. If a bomber was going to survive deep inside hostile territory, it needed to be difficult to detect in the first place. That pushed American engineers back toward an old idea with new technology: the flying wing. Decades earlier, Northrop had experimented with tailless aircraft, such as the YB-49, whose broad shape promised efficiency and long range. But the technology of that era was not mature enough to make the concept practical. By the late 20th century, digital flight controls, advanced composites, improved materials, and low observable design methods allowed that vision to return in a far more dangerous form. The result was the B-2 Spirit, a long-range stealth bomber built to slip through sophisticated air defenses and strike heavily defended targets with either conventional or nuclear weapons. As the hangar bays open and the aircraft slowly emerges, the B-2 already looks unlike almost anything else in military aviation. There is no vertical tail, no obvious body and wing combination, no unnecessary edge left for radar to catch. Everything is blended into a smooth, dark silhouette. The broad span dominates the scene, but the shape is not only about drama. It is about reducing radar signatures, controlling airflow, and helping the bomber move efficiently across intercontinental distances. Around the aircraft, security and discipline are part of the mission. Guards, maintainers, and aircrew operate as if every minute matters, because with the B-2, every detail does matter. Long before takeoff, weapons specialists move with deliberate precision beneath the bomber's clean outer lines. Conventional munitions are loaded internally, preserving the stealth profile that gives the aircraft its greatest advantage. Nothing about this process is casual. The B-2 was created for strategic targets, and even on training events, the routines reflect that seriousness. Pilot preparation is equally intense. Unlike older bombers with larger crews, the B-2 is flown by only two people: a pilot and a mission commander. That small crew has to manage navigation, systems, mission execution, and endurance over extremely long flights. Preparation begins on the ground with mission review, aircraft walkarounds, coordination with maintainers, and careful study of the route, tanker support, weapons plan, and threat picture. By the time the crew climbs aboard, much of the mission has already been mentally completed. During weapons loading and pre-flight checks, the B-2's quiet complexity becomes more visible. Panels are inspected. Landing gear areas are examined. Surface conditions matter because stealth is not only built into the aircraft, it is preserved through careful maintenance and disciplined handling. Then comes engine start, taxi, and the long movement toward the runway. When the bomber finally accelerates and lifts off, it does so with almost unreal smoothness. Once airborne, the B-2 reveals why it was never treated like a normal exportable aircraft. It combines long reach, precision strike capability, and stealth in a package designed to undertake America's most sensitive military missions. During bombing runs, whether simulated or real, the aircraft is made to approach and penetrate defended territories and targets with minimal chance of detection, deliver its weapons, and leave before the adversary can respond. That is an extraordinary military advantage, and Washington never intended to spread that advantage, even to its closest allies. Its maneuverability also surprises many aircraft enthusiasts. The B-2 is not a dogfighter, but it is far from clumsy. The flying wing layout, split control surfaces, elevons, flaps, and flight control computers constantly work together to keep the aircraft stable and responsive. Because the aircraft lacks conventional tails, computers are essential in translating pilot inputs into smooth movement. Beneath the bomber's calm shape is a stream of hidden corrections, keeping one of the world's most unusual combat aircraft precisely on course through hostile skies. But keeping the B-2 effective is not only about flying it. It is about sustaining a machine whose advantages depend on relentless precision after landing as much as before takeoff. During hot pit refueling operations, the pace changes, but the pressure does not ease. Ground crews move in quickly while the aircraft is turned for another mission cycle. Fuel is transferred rapidly, crew members rotate, and the bomber is prepared to get airborne again with as little delay as possible. Even this transition reflects why the aircraft remained the sole property of the United States. The B-2 was built for sustained strategic operations, not merely for ceremonial prestige. Maintenance is where the true cost of B-2 exclusivity becomes impossible to ignore. Stealth aircraft are not maintained like ordinary bombers. Technicians inspect exterior surfaces, treat sensitive, low observable areas, monitor the condition of coatings, service engines, check avionics, and verify that every access panel, seam, and edge is returned to perfect working condition. A small imperfection can make all the difference. A tiny rough patch, a poorly seated panel, or contamination on a treated surface can undermine the aircraft's signature management. For this reason, the B-2 is supported by specialized infrastructure, trained crews, strict procedures, and a security culture built around protecting both capability and knowledge. Selling such an aircraft abroad would never have meant handing over a single bomber. It would have meant transferring a guarded ecosystem of maintenance practices, stealth expertise, mission systems, and strategic trust that Washington was never willing to release. And that ecosystem had to function under combat pressure, far from home, with crews capable of restoring mission readiness again and again. The bomber's mystique may begin with its shape, but its power depends on disciplined turnarounds, repairs, and a support structure as carefully protected as the aircraft itself. And that brings the story to the future, because the clearest reason the United States never sold the B-2 is found in what came next. The aircraft was never meant to become an international product line. It was a bridge between generations of American strategic air power and a guardian of some of the country's most protected military technologies. The flying wing idea did not end with the B-2, and in many ways the bomber itself looks like the rebirth of an ambition first seen in aircraft like the YB-49. The difference is that the B-2 proved the concept was feasible. It showed that a large tailless bomber, once considered too radical, could become one of the most survivable penetrating strike aircraft in the world. That success laid the foundation for the next step, the B-21 Raider. When the B-21 was unveiled, it was presented not as a break from the B-2's story, but as its evolution. The shape was familiar, yet cleaner, tighter, and even more refined. The message was unmistakable. America was not abandoning the stealth bomber idea. It was doubling down on it. The Raider is intended to operate in tomorrow's high-end threat environment and to serve alongside the B-52 as a core part of the future bomber force. In other words, the B-2 was never the end state. It was the pathfinder, not an export commodity by design. That helps explain the export refusal better than almost any single statistic. Nations sell equipment abroad when they are willing to let the capability diffuse, when alliances are trusted enough to absorb the risk, or when industrial scale justifies broader production. The B-2 fits none of those categories. It is extraordinarily expensive at over $2 billion per airframe, operationally sensitive, and built around technologies the United States wanted to protect at the highest level. Its stealth shaping, mission systems, support requirements, and strategic role made it less like a fighter for foreign military sales and more like a national crown jewel. The Doolittle Raiders tribute surrounding the B-21 program also reveals something deeper. By naming the new bomber Raider, the United States linked the future of stealth strike to one of the most symbolic long-range attacks in American history. That connection is not accidental. It tells allies and adversaries alike that these bombers are not simply machines. They are part of a national doctrine of reach, surprise, and deterrence. Systems carrying that kind of meaning are rarely treated as export commodities. The B-21 also promises features that show how the B-2's logic is being extended rather than discarded. Greater adaptability, maintainability, digital design advantages, and survivability for future threats all point toward a bomber force designed to remain American-controlled at its most sensitive edge. Even as the B-21 enters service and the B-2 moves toward eventual retirement, the old spirit still matters. It proved that a large stealth bomber could project power across vast distances, hold heavily defended targets at risk, and remain relevant for decades. That's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss any of our new content. See you next time.